Hey guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to the channel. Or if you happen to be new here, don't forget to click that subscribe button to stay up to date with all Star Trek news on YouTube. Today I'm talking about the trailer and the sneak peek scene for Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 10. I can't believe we're 10 episodes into this show already. It seems to have flown. Called Terra Firma Part 2. So we've already seen Part 1, involving all of the Mirror Universe stuff. And now we've hopefully got a bit of resolution going on. How her presence in the Mirror Universe is going to remedy her affliction. So let's take a look at the trailer for this episode, and then we'll take a look at the sneak peek scene.
Everyone can see how weak you become.
It doesn't have to be this way.
No! Mother!
We must leave behind all of that which destroys us.
They will kill you.
We have an empire to rule. I've seen who you can be, Michael. I've seen what this world can be, and it is luminous.
Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll have a look at some of these shots that we just saw in the trailer one by one and see if there's anything in more detail we can learn about this week's episode. So for starters, we have a scene with Burnham being thrown in the brig by Georgiou after she refused to kill her, and Burnham is not too happy about it. We'll get to this scene in a bit more detail in the sneak peek scene, which is coming up later in this video, where Burnham just wants to be killed and Georgiou isn't having any part of that. I sense from the dialogue and also Georgiou's demeanour in the images and so forth from this trailer, that maybe she's trying to skew the Terran Empire or the Mirror Universe to be a little bit more like the Prime Universe, not be so aggressive, not be so murdery all the time, and hence bring it back in alignment with the Prime Universe so they're not quite so separated, and that's perhaps going to help cure her condition maybe. And it doesn't seem like Burnham is too happy about this. We've got Tilly with quite a bit of delight on her face in this shot, because it would appear like she's putting Burnham in the torture chamber that we saw established in the Enterprise episode In a Mirror Darkly, where I think Malcolm and Dr. Phlox had invented this torture chamber for extracting pain, and it appears like that they've put Burnham in this torture chamber. So I'm hoping they kind of maybe reference in some slight way that invention by Dr. Phlox and Malcolm Reed in this episode, because it appears that that's what it might be. And it looks like Tilly's loving her job a bit too much, instilling quite a bit of pain for poor old Michael Burnham there. Another scene with Burnham and Georgiou in the brig here. It definitely seems like that Georgiou is a much softer presence in the Terran Empire compared with how she is in the Prime Universe, because it seems like that she's sort of trying to soften things up a little bit in the Terran Empire so that the difference between the two universes comes closer together rather than being drawn further apart, and maybe that's the plan, to get her molecules not splitting apart so much. Tilly in command on the bridge here, adopting a somewhat Riker-like pose in the captain's chair. Burnham pointing a phaser at Georgiou in this shot. I feel there's going to be a few standoffs in this episode, with Burnham and Georgiou not really seeing eye to eye on how the Terran Empire should be run. And it seems like from episode 1 of this two-parter that Saru is now definitely aligned with Georgiou, and he can see that she's trying to help him out, and it seems like Saru is going to be helping out Georgiou in more than one way in this upcoming two-part episode. As we see in this shot, phaser rifle in hand, throwing another crewman to the roof and sort of smashing him against the wall. Burnham and Georgiou struggling here. Georgiou's got a knife in her hand. She's slamming Burnham to the ground. We've got obviously guns being pointed, knives being drawn. It looks like it's on for young and old in this episode with these guys not seeing eye to eye in terms of how the Terran Empire is meant to be run. In this shot here, we've got phaser bolts flying through the air, things exploding. We've got a female crew member diving for cover, which I think is maybe either Detmer or Nilsson. Based on the dialogue in this scene, it would seem like Georgiou is telling Burnham all about her counterpart in the Prime Universe and how much of a goody two-shoes she is, and how the galaxy is being run over there, and how maybe Georgiou wants to take a bit of a page out of the Prime Universe's book and transfer that over into the mirror universe to just settle things down a little bit, and things don't need to be so murderous and quite as destructive. Shot of the ISS Discovery here in orbit of a ringed planet. This is still in the mirror universe because the ship doesn't have the Discovery A new configurations with detached nacelles and so forth. A fingerless gloved hand, which I think belongs to Book in engineering, reaching for some sort of glowing canister. There's the Verubin effect signal thing on a screen in the background, so something to do with the burn data perhaps they started talking about last week. Perhaps this links in with Book's request to Saru in last week's episode to be given more responsibility and become a bit more of a part of the crew. Adira in engineering, something to do with more burn data analysis perhaps. And finally, Mira Burnham lying down looking at a glass sphere full of what seems like fireflies or some kind of insect. Right, so let's take a look at the sneak peek scene which takes place in the mirror universe between Burnham and Georgiou. Like past weeks, I'll run through the dialogue from that scene and show some images from the scene. Unfortunately, we can't run it in its entirety for legal reasons with CBS and everything. So let's take a look at that sneak peek scene and see what our next episode has in store. The camera upside down moves in through Discovery's hull, through the inner workings where repair bots go about their maintenance. We enter the corridors and move into the brig, where an angrily grunting Burnham is thrown in as the force field activates. Burnham says, "I should be dead. Kill me. Give me the honour I deserve." Georgiou says, "You deserve many things." Burnham says, "Then kill me for your own sake, because every moment you hesitate is a moment that everyone can see how weak you've become." Georgiou says, "You're about to find out how weak I've become." Burnham says, "Why do you think Lorca has been able to gather so many forces against you? Why do you think he got to me? You're rescuing Kelpians? Fretting over artists? Half of your insipid death opera was a lie. Propaganda to make you look strong. I know the truth." Well, I'm looking forward to episode 2 of the Terra Firma arc. Hopefully it gives us a bit more of a resolution into Georgiou's character. I realise I was probably a little bit critical in my review of Terra Firma Part 1. I'd only had about 3 hours sleep the night before and worked a really long day that day. So apologies if my review was more critical than usual. But hopefully everything will become clear and make perfect sense once we've seen Part 2 of this story arc. And hopefully it's a good resolution to Georgiou's situation. Please don't forget to like, to comment, to share, subscribe, check out my merchandise and my membership page by clicking that join button if getting a bit more information and delving a bit deeper into the Sci-Fanatics YouTube channel is for you. I appreciate all your support, guys. I'll see you next time for my next review.